because you worked with them, of course, very
Of
well.
course, yeah, right, wonderful. What's he up to there? Does he live out in the southeastern U.S.?
He had a house here
Yeah.
in Laurel Canyon, and he has a house in New Orleans.
Yeah.
So they spend all the time in New Orleans now.
Yeah, no.
He's working on a new film.
He helped us start House of Blues and get it going, yeah.
Yes, he certainly
Great.
did.
Please say hello.
I will. I'll tell him hello. And that was a great party at the House of Blues. Thank you.
Always there, yeah.
So, what's next for you in the Ghostbuster universe? Is there anything that you wanted to share that you didn't share last night, or maybe not everybody in the audience was?
I'm just we've got the anniversary edition coming out. That's going to have all kinds of extra footage on there. There's going to be a vinyl release of the album. I think Rodale Press may do a digital re-release of the History of Ghosts book. We've got all kinds, as you'll see, around lots of neat merchandising ideas for toys and stuff to keep it going. And of course, we've got the Jason Reitman script that we'll be making this summer. Yeah, it's really, really good. I was very moved when I read it. It's neat.
And is there anything that you're willing to share about the new movie that?
Just that it just magnificently passes the torch to a new generation, and I see some children in here, and you know what's happening is you've got grandparents who passed it to one generation, and then to the next we have grandchildren and great-grandchildren now are being inducted into the Ghostbusters Cadet Corps, and so it helps to it's going to help to pass it along to the next generation for them to embrace it and take it where they want it to go.
It really has become like almost like a family institution. You know, if you grew up with it and you have kids, like my son right there, Ian, why don't you wave to Dan? So that's my son.
Yes, sir. Good.
Yeah, and so he's. I told everybody else before you walked in, but when last night going to the movie, I said, Ian, you want to go see the screening? And he said, yeah. And he says, can I wear my Ghostbusters costume? And I said, from when you were like 7? And he's like, no, a brand new one. And he built this brand new one. And so here he is with his friend Dom. So and now he's got a son, so it makes me a grandfather. We have all the toys, so he does.
They gotta go, yeah. And all the patches, by the way, from every individual chapter look really great. Really great. Yes, yeah. I've got a nice collection now.
Yeah. A lot of vehicles out there too, all different sorts.
Really something else.
Very creative crowd.
So good. And you know, the good works that the Ghostbusters do around North America for charity and for children's causes, and they lend their hard work on the equipment and their vehicles and the jumpsuits and the whole look of it, the whole feel of it. They lend it to good causes. So thank you for that.
I know you've only like another 10 minutes. You said you had another.
Hey, we're all here.
You cleared that? Okay. Very good.
Take full advantage of our presence together here. Yeah.
Wonderful, thank you, because there's a lot more I think people would like to know, because last night you showed some outtakes. And is there anything from Ghostbusters, either one of them, first one or the second one, that was edited out that you would have liked to have seen remain in the film?
Well, yes, Bill Murray and Sigourney, Bill and some of his stuff that he worked out with Sigourney, there was some great dialogue there that you just couldn't put it all in. Just in the second movie, his interaction with the little babies,
Yes.
So much fun. There was a lot of that could have stayed in there. And in the first movie, just, him sort of trying to entice Sigourney into a relationship. It was really funny. There was reels and reels of that they had to cut out.
Yeah, I imagine there was a lot, because even looking at the outtakes, it looks like everybody, yourself included, had a whole lot of fun making the movie. There appeared to be a little bit of ad-libbing that was going on as well.
Oh, well, yes, especially with Murray. Now, Harold and I, because we had to sell exposition and our theoretical science, we had to stay on script mostly.
You mentioned that in writing elsewhere that you felt that was one of the contributing factors that makes the movie connect with an audience, that you guys really did stay true to the characters. Even though there was comic relief throughout the movie, you were taking your job serious, what you were doing.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, we used, real terms and the real science and the real vernacular and a real belief of it that I had. Harold was not a believer, but we ignited my belief into, what became the movie. And, yeah, it was a beautiful process writing it with him. Yeah.
Being that you had a lot of inspiration and a lot of, writings within your family, a lot of knowledge that's been passed down. Just out of curiosity, how long did it take to write this script? Because it's not a simple movie. There's a lot going on.
Well, once I had the idea and I had the system, I had devised what this equipment was going to look, who these guys were, it was pretty fast. I was interrupted by John Belushi's death. I was typing a line for him. See, originally I wanted Belushi, Eddie Murphy, myself, and then a mystery. We didn't know who else, who the fourth one would be. And so I was in the middle of a line. So that stopped me, John's death stopped me writing. But then after that, I spent that next summer, I guess, doing it over a couple of months. And it helped distract me. So I wrote it mostly up at the farm there, at the farmhouse in Canada, the old haunted farmhouse, yeah. Sitting on the front porch, listening to the creaks and moans and, Labatt 50 and, as writers do, 4 hours a day, 4 hours in the morning, 4 hours in the afternoon, 4 hours at night. And you come up with pages, eventually, if you stay there long enough.
So am I understanding you correctly that John Belushi was going to be...
Oh yeah, I was writing a line for him. He was going to be me, Belushi, and Eddie Murphy, and one other that we hadn't determined. We didn't know who was going to be at that point. Now, this is way prior to, of course, Billy and Harold's and Ivan's involvement. This is the first draft words I was writing when John died.
Has that been published someplace else? I was not aware of
so.
that.
Oh yeah, I think so, yeah. I had to get up and then run from the typewriter down to tell Judy before she saw it or heard it on the papers or on the radio. I remember running from 23rd Street, 5th Avenue down to Morton Street in the village, like running, and going past the newsstands and seeing Belushi dead at 33. Belushi dead at 33 on the newsstands. She can't see this before I get there, so I ran in and I had to tell her. That's tough,
Yeah, that was a tough time. It's like many of us here probably know where you were and what you were doing when you learned that news.
Yeah, well, it was like, I guess I felt as if I was a chaplain in the army coming to tell the widow that the husband had been killed in battle. They have to do that all the time. It's a psychological trauma comes with it.
And I wasn't...
Not to mention hers, hearing that her husband had died.
Sure.
Yeah.
I